Alive.
2.5 million. Shit. For what it's worth. But every time, no, 2.5, 3 million college Republicans have to do anything else.
Scared me.
Regular council meeting Monday, the 22nd, 2026, 6 p.m. City clerk, please give the roll call.
Councilman Baker.
Present.
Councilwoman Frigeau. Councilwoman Holtzhauser.
Present.
Councilman Phillips.
Present.
Councilman Poston.
Here.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Here.
Councilwoman Sitton.
Present.
With there being a quorum, I will give this meeting to order. Would everybody stand for the invocation? Councilman Poston, would you please give the invocation?
Yes. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come together tonight to represent the best interests of the citizens of Louisiana. We ask that you just give us divine guidance as we make these important and lasting decisions. And it's in your Son, Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Now, if you remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, Councilman Phillips, will you lead the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
With liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I will open the floor for any comments from the public regarding any item on the agenda.
Is this time for that?
Yeah, if you had something you wanted to say, you can come up to the podium.
Okay. So I just wanted to talk about,
Just state your name and
it's Robert Anthony Martin, but I go by Tony. And in short, it was one of the agenda items was I was wanting to put on there essentially tickets and issues with sidewalks. So I just want to take a brief moment of your time, if you guys would, just to go over that. So I got a few pictures for you. Don't have enough copies for all of you.
we can share. That'll work.
And do you guys wanted to see it or not? All right, so specifically, if you turn to the third page on the attachment, what I wanted to touch base on was that for our particular driveway, let me go back just a little bit. So I know that we've had an influx of tickets that have been recently handed out for parking issues. I get obviously the state law for you can't park over a sidewalk. There's no argument there. I'm not talking about that. I do have other questions and concerns I'd like your guys' opinion on, see if we can't get to a resolution, but essentially I want to talk about a couple different things, and I won't take too long since I'm not a preacher, but in short, we didn't really have any enforcement over the last 38 years, so when we moved to the house that my parents, the house they live in currently, they've been living there for 39 years, they moved there before I turned 1. There hasn't been an issue with the parking situation at all the entire length of time, and it just all of a sudden came about. I get that laws didn't change. They didn't come about until, that law is a state law, and it's been that way for a while. But the thing is that they had that driveway actually redone back in the early 2000s, and they had a few different city officials that saw no issues with that particular driveway. Now, my mother, who is also ADA, she's in the crowd with us tonight. She's getting tickets now for parking in her own driveway. And what I would like to bring to you is a couple of different thoughts I've got, not just from a personal standpoint, but also what other actions may take place going forward in the future. So when I was discussing this with Mark, it said a little bit of the background was that we were worried about ADA people being able to get around the sidewalks. No argument, no concerns there. She is ADA. But the problem is with her getting a ticket in her specific parking spot, we're now telling somebody that is ADA they have to walk farther to be able to actually park without getting a ticket. So in other words, that driveway is not usable. So I wanted to bring that up. I also wanted to bring up too that when I was going through this, I started to look into different things like the deeds and what were easements and what were easement rights. When looking over their particular deed, There's nothing in there that states that the city would own the sidewalk. And when I've talked to Clint also, when I've done some discussions, and if it's up to us to maintain it, it's also up to us if we tear it out. So what I wanted to kind of come to a resolution is what do I have in my right that I can do without physically going through and tearing out the sidewalk? And the reason why I thought it was important enough to bring up to you guys was not just because of the ADA issue, but also we just spent quite a bit of funding on that Georgia Street repairs and then also on all the sidewalks. I noticed as I go down Georgia Street, I think it's 16th, 17th Street, and all along there for the next couple of blocks, you got a lot of people that end up parking that their driveway intersects or goes right across the sidewalk. And I know that it's pretty tight there, but what I would hate for the town to do is if they watch our example and follow us, and I don't want to tear out the sidewalk, I'd like to keep them. But at the same time, if we just lean on technicalities and just state solely that, hey, the state doesn't, or the state's gonna ticket you regardless, if that is the case, then we'll take the next step of just getting rid of the sidewalk. I know that I've already been told that one person's gotten rid of their sidewalk for different reasons, but similar to that on, I think it was South Carolina. But what I don't want to see happen is now all of a sudden you start driving down Georgia Street and you see sidewalks that were just redone. People are like, I'm not gonna take a ticket. I think it's what, $50? I don't know if you know that off the top of your head. But either way, I know that ticket can be redone over and over and over. I can tell you, I would think people would eventually find justification to tear out their own sidewalk. And I personally don't want to see us start ripping up brand new sidewalk that we just spent all the money for. I also, as a citizen, don't want to walk down the street and go from perfect sidewalk to all of a sudden now grass or gravel because somebody didn't want to get the ticket. So in other words, what I'm bringing forward to you is I would like to see what resolution we can come up with to allow my parents to park in their driveway. As you can see from the pictures, like if you look at the third picture with the van, there is a physical impossibility to actually get the van parked in that position without actually having it overhang the sidewalk. It just isn't capable. You can't move the house. I can't do anything else different. It's not like we're going to move the sidewalk forward. So in other words, for them, it's a physical impossibility. Even if we were to, somebody asked the question at one point in time, like when we were talking to the prosecuting attorney for the city, she'd asked, well, what's the length and dimensions of your garage? We already have two vehicles in the garage, but even if you took those out and she was to park inside the garage, unfortunately with her ADA capabilities, she would have a hell of a struggle to actually get in and out, excuse my French. She'd have a heck of a time getting in and out and making that work because it's so tight and small in that garage. So again, what I bring forward to you is I'd like to hear what your guys' thoughts and opinions were, if there's anything that could be done, whether or not it was added to some sort of ordinance, or whether or not there's something that we could do or be taking off that worry and not having to have that issue. And the other thing is too, just in discussing with other people from other cities, other towns that come here, and some individuals that actually do have businesses here, I would hate that people look at this town and say they can't even work with their citizens on parking. Why are we going to do anything with businesses? I don't want to see us deter people because I'd love to see this place grow. I've bought a home here myself and would love to see us be able to prosper, but I also hate when what I think, in my personal opinion, is smaller items come up. I again understand fully about the ADA requirements on Georgia, but then when we have something like ours is not even ADA compliant. So I kind of feel like that argument falls short, that our particular sidewalk is not ADA compliant to begin with. So if that is truly what was the thought process, I would think that ours wouldn't be the issue. Go ahead.
Yeah, does that sidewalk go all the way from South Carolina, all the way up to Georgia Street? Is it continuous all the way up? Or
You
does it
have
stop anyplace?
you have a small spot where it stops on the alleyway. But yes, that one in particular does run all the way to Georgia Street, stops in the alleyway, and then joins to the one that's running across South Carolina at the edge of the street where you see like the red Mustang in the pictures.
And then it continues on after South Carolina to North Carolina, I guess.
No, it ends at that end of the block. Sorry, I don't have those pictures.
Well, you just barely see it on that picture there. The sidewalk continues on or whatever.
It does have a continuation of a portion of it, but it doesn't go all the way up to North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
That's South Carolina in the picture where the red car is.
Right, and then it goes on past,
Partially, yeah.
but there's the sidewalk that goes across South Carolina and then starts to go to.
It goes up to about the Moschmeyer house,
Yeah,
and then where your
It doesn't
alleyway.
continue all the way.
no, there used to be an alleyway there.
Right.
Correct.
Sidewalk in the driveway are the same. I didn't agree, I have no idea, but, if the van was pulled up to the door.
Even if the bumper is
Oh,
touching,
I'm not, it's not gonna go out of the way, I know. But I was thinking, if it was pulled up to here, could we do like a, or you do like a wing on this where people could get access to, like kind of wings on those, to give them access to still be on concrete to get around the back of the,
that's something I could definitely discuss with them. The only concern I would have with that, because I'm not trying to necessarily play devil's
because it's got
advocate,
a little
is,
hill.
the only concern I would have with that is that when she parks there, she basically leaves herself just enough room to get around the front of the van. And
Okay.
sometimes, not trying to say nothing bad, but sometimes she'll need to lean on it to
Well,
move around pretty easily.
I'm getting older, I understand that. There were times we need to. I was just thinking perhaps that would give us an access, that we'd still have the people an access to get around, not having to go through the grass, because I think that's what they need.
That looks like a solution that might work.
Okay. I think it'll still be a little, we could probably look into something like that, but
So-
it'll still be a little bit tight just because the length of the Lincoln that he owns.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt, but he's gonna have a hard time doing that. The issue that we have with changing sidewalks is anytime you alter, you have to meet ADA compliant, be ADA compliant. Grade wise elevation, they're not gonna meet the grade and the elevation for the steep. He would almost have to come almost probably halfway between the alleyway and his driveway to meet that grade to be ADA compliant. Otherwise, it's gonna be a sharp V. The reason is because hypothetically speaking, if somebody come off Georgia Street in a wheelchair, got to that spot, turned, they would lose control and just roll right off out of the street because of the grade and the elevation. He brings up some good concerns because if truth be told, we're paying $4.3 million for the Georgia Street Corridor project. Of the 4.3 million, I would say probably 150, I'd have to look, 150, 200,000 of it was just for sidewalks. We don't own the sidewalks. We put the sidewalks there to a favor of the citizens because we laid our water main underneath of the sidewalk. So we replaced the sidewalk to clean up our mess and make it right. He does bring up a good point. There is several driveways down Georgia Street. People have to park across. Times have changed. Vehicles are longer. People have more than one vehicle, all of that. I understand it's a law, but we got to figure out how to come to an agreement because if we don't, people could just start jackhammering our $4.3 million project up on Georgia Street that we're going to be paying on, and we have no control of what they do with their sidewalk. The other side of it is too, I thought we as the city could go in, terminate the sidewalk at your driveway and take it as a 90-degree, but you're still not going to meet elevation. And I'm going to be speaking on the city side. If we do it for you, we have to do that for everybody.
Understood.
So
we have to come to some way somehow. It's a pickle. I'll say that.
Is there a usable sidewalk across the street? Is there a usable sidewalk on the other end of the house?
Yes, on the front side of his house there is. Along South Carolina, there's a sidewalk
Yes.
up there.
That's correct. Yeah, across the street at George Norval's old place, that sidewalk, there is a sidewalk there, but it's pretty well busted up. And it doesn't go all the way up to Georgia. Where, what's her name? Used to live there, Miss Morris? Where Miss Morris used to live, it goes down just to the entrance to her house. The sidewalk doesn't continue all the way down on the opposite side of the street. And there's a sidewalk up almost the alleyway for where George Norval used to live, but it's also in shambles to say the least. Depending on parts of it, it looks like there isn't even a sidewalk there.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any way we go to a variance or I'm not sure what our options would be as far as that goes. Anybody?
I would say this is probably why we didn't do enforcement for 38 years, even more so after the last 5 or 6, because we put a $4.3 million project on Georgia Street.
I don't want to sound like I'm being mean or nothing, because I'm not. But can't you let your mom out and then take the car back around and park it here?
She actually does still drive. She
Okay.
actually, yeah, so this would essentially make the driveway unusable for her. Nobody else, unless we bought them a smart car, and I don't see her getting in and out of it very, very easily. There's nothing that's gonna fit. Even the Mustang that my younger sister has would still be just a few inches over the sidewalk. And I know just from friends being in Fulton when we went to football games there, a friend of ours got a ticket and she happened to be like 2 inches over the sidewalk, and it's pretty much, if you're over it, you're over it. It's how they treat it.
Another thing about his specific case, because I did look into it. So I think a right of way, a city right of way is from the center of the street. So it could be 20 foot from the center street, 40 foot total. It could be, it ranges 30 foot, 15 foot. I haven't looked at the specific right of way or measurements from the center of 11th Street, is that what it is?
Yes.
From the center of 11th Street to see exactly where our right of way lays. Hypothetically speaking, if that sidewalk is outside of the city's right of way, I hate to say this, but really all you have to do is go down to the corner of 11th and South Carolina, take a 2-foot section out of there, and as long as it doesn't connect to the city's public sidewalk or the right of way within South Carolina, it is now considered a private sidewalk, and he can be just fine without having to do anything. But who wants to take pieces of the sidewalk out just to be like this? I just don't know the best case. I've worked with him, I've looked up stuff, and I've talked with Cameron about it, and we're trying to figure out the best solution.
We have another option, which is we could send it to the Board of Adjustment. Of course, give it the proper notice and the proper hearing. And as you know, everyone has stated, like there are other instances of this around town. Make that hearing well known and have each individual come in and see if we can begin making exceptions for that within what we're allowed to within the law.
That's what I was gonna ask next, but, because RSA law has sidewalk law too.
Yes.
How do
And
you get
then
around that?
I don't think we'd be able to get around it.
You have to figure out something other than changing the ordinance.
Yes, the Board of Adjustment would have to work with the city attorney to figure out, what type of variance or what type of adjustment that we could make and still be in compliance with that RSMO.
Can we do like a stay or halt on tickets for this until we get it? Something worked out within X amount. I need for people to get a number of tickets when we're trying to figure out something for them, because that's,
Right.
Are they getting morning tickets or just getting straight
I
up
think
tickets?
we skipped over the warnings and went straight to tickets when we started enforcing that.
Well, it's gotta be a common sense solution to this. I mean, I look at this picture and I see, sidewalk. I'm trying to wrap my head around the fact, the question of, when does a sidewalk become a driveway or become a sidewalk?
That's what I'm.
And it just seems to me that in our zeal to deal with a problem a couple of years ago on the council with a couple of certain individuals, we kind of went almost the other way.
He should have gave
And-
warnings first. not
Yeah,
just
I
get
agree.
out
So-
there and
So
ask.
it just seems to me that we can find some kind of common sense solution.
And the houses he's talking about on Georgia Street, they do have garages in the back and driveways in the back. So
I agree.
You're right, this is something different, but I'm sure there's more of these differences in town. What we're gonna do?
You brought up a good point, John, and that's something else I think the Board of Adjustment could look into is, and I don't enjoy bureaucracy as much as the next person, but they could look into the technicalities of what is the state under that RSMO, what's considered a driveway, what's considered a sidewalk, where does it end, where does it begin? Because, and not to give you any ideas, if it was me up there, I would argue this isn't the sidewalk. The concrete doesn't even match, the pattern doesn't match. I don't know where I would stand, in the eyes of the law for that, but I would just say, this is my driveway, it's not the sidewalk, and so it's my property. And I know there are answers to those questions. I just think the BOA would be more apt to jump into
I'm not
it.
saying we don't enforce the ordinance, but what I'm saying is we've got to I'm sure there's a common sense solution if we go to the various people and
Yeah.
do some research, but we can find some workaround.
I agree.
What about this particular citation? Has this been paid to the city?
No, we discussed with, I'm trying to remember the judge's name. Barry, yep. I talked to Mylan about it, and we also talked to the new city attorney, and they gave us a stay until the end of July.
And what happens at the end of July?
I better come with something better. It's essentially, it'll either be that, or, hate to say it, but the only other way to get out of it, and I would say that they would say that you did that after the fact, so we'd still probably be on the hook for the ticket. But what would end up realistically happening would be, at that point, we would tear out the sidewalk.
Right, so is there a way that we can advocate on their behalf with Judge Berry for this particular circumstance?
That's a possibility.
My only concern with that is, and as I sit here listening to this discussion, this is technically probably an enforcement issue, which is an administrative function as opposed to a legislative function. And we have to be careful as to whether we're violating the ordinances in terms of trying to dictate how these tickets are or are not written. That is a police function. Ordinance specifically say that we have to be careful about that.
Have you received, how many tickets? Just one? Two tickets?
And no more.
Correct.
Well, I don't see the reason why we couldn't get some kind of stay until we get some kind of more options.
We would have to change the ordinance, correct,
Right.
to adjust it, so that is in our territory, so if we
It
could say
is.
we need to stay, because we realize now we need to revisit this ordinance, because it's not applicable in every situation.
Right.
Because there are,
And we have to find a way around the RSMO also. We have to match
Right.
whatever the state says.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
So we're probably gonna have to come up with something ingenious.
Like sure,
Hey, guys, put on your hats.
first of all, the BOA can only do something up to 18 months. That's it. 18 months. That's a Band-Aid. Sidewalk, the portion of the street between the curb line and adjacent property line, which is intended for the use of pedestrians, including sidewalks over private property where curb line and property line are the same. Definition of sidewalk, already there. You want to change something, then take out the ordinance. And then leave it up to Highway Patrol to enforce the state statute and or county. So, but you can't overrule a state statute. You can't do
You
that.
don't have the power.
But you can get rid of the ordinance because the statute already exists. And all the ordinance is doing is repeating the statute. For the most part, that's it. Now, as far as 2 years ago, as of just yesterday, there is a lady who uses a wheelchair, an electric wheelchair on Georgia Street. And so does, what's that guy, Sam?
Danny Sutton.
I saw him out there today.
Something or other.
Danny Sutton.
So there are people that use the Georgia Street sidewalk. Now, the sidewalks, I don't know. I only travel a lot up and down Georgia Street, right? But y'all, it's just a suggestion, man. I don't know anything. So I would just say that would be another idea, and it would be much cleaner. A whole lot easier than what y'all are going around and around about.
Yeah, to do away with the ordinance would be the cleanest solution.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So one brilliant lawyer who used to write ordinances say that you repeal or replace when it comes to ordinances. Okay, repeal or replace.
because we are,
So in this case, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
And if we get rid of the city's ordinance about that, don't we still have to obey RSMO?
It's not as
Or do we just
prevalent.
ignore it?
It's not as prevalent when you don't have an ordinance.
So we ignore it, basically. We just
for another 38 years, because certainly we can't budget enough to fix every sidewalk.
It's kind of one of those deals where you got the rules, but you interpret them different ways.
We just have to be sure we're consistent with it.
Yeah, we just have to be consistent.
Consistent and breaking the rules.
Let's find,
To me,
let's
this
find
does
the
not
solution.
sound good.
Let's find the solution.
That's what we need.
I think we got some options that we
Let's
can
sit
look
down
at.
and.
I'll do my best and talk to Chief Baker as far as
I like them.
put a halt as far as a temporary halt until we can get something done. We'll talk to the ordinance committee and see if that might be a route that we go.
Okay.
And I think we all understand what your problem is.
Right,
It's just
right.
trying to find that solution.
Understood. No, I got you. I appreciate you guys for listening to me. And then, the only other favor I've got for you is just if you guys have that pull and that ability to talk to Mylan Berry, if you would, just so that way, we more or less, it's on hold until we get something else in place.
Right. Okay, I can do that.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Tony. And thank you, Mike. Anybody else have any thing that they want to bring up citizens wise?
Oh, you know I do, but I just can't right now.
If there are no corrections needed to be made, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. The agenda will stand as is. At this time, I'd like to propose Ryan Griffin for the Ward 4 council seat. First and second.
First.
Second.
We have a first and second. Are there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Opposed, like sign. Ryan, will you please come up and the city clerk will administer the oath of the office?
I have to do roll call.
Oh,
Sorry.
we need
Council-
to do a roll call first.
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frazeau,
Yes.
Councilman Holzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips.
Yep.
Councilman Poston,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sitton.
Yes.
Okay, now we're good.
Okay, Ryan, come on up.
Bureaucracy.
That's you or what?
Yeah, thank you. All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Ryan Griffin,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess
that I possess
all the qualifications
all the qualifications
for the office of councilperson
for the office of councilperson
as prescribed by law,
as prescribed by law,
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws
the provisions of all laws
of this state
of this state
affecting cities of this class,
affecting cities of this class,
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the city of Louisiana,
of the city of Louisiana,
and faithfully
and faithfully
demean myself in office.
demean myself in office.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ryan. Okay, moving on. The chair will entertain a motion to approve May 4th, 2026 special council meeting minutes.
Move.
May 18th, special council meeting minutes. May 26th, regular council meeting minutes. And May 29th, special council meeting minutes as a slate.
So move.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yep.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. We'll move into the city administrator's report. Oh, mayor does not have a report.
What a change.
You can give mine if you want. Good evening, Mayor, Council. Congratulations. I have a couple things, and I was told by 3, maybe 4 individual people that I had to do this, and I quote, quicker than normal. So, here we go. General update, Star Hill procedures. We sent out a memo to the public recently, about 2 weeks ago, regarding Star Hill procedures and the possibility of keeping it open Monday through Thursday, in addition to the historical Friday and Saturday. I will repeat, the Friday and Saturday, how it's traditionally been done, will not change. We're allowing people to go up there more. That is planned to take effect next week. It was going to take effect earlier in the month. However, we had to order a special combination lock that could be digitally changed from anywhere. It took a bit of that to get in, and so we put a stay on until when that was in effect. Again, we expect that to go into effect next week, and we'll keep you updated on that. So, next, community engagement. I don't remember what I had for community engagement. I apologize. The administration truck, I was going to bring up that due to recent events, the police department, or actually animal control, had moved to using the administration van. The former animal control vehicle went to the maintenance department, and their least beloved truck, nicknamed Carrot, the giant orange F-150 in the parking lot, it has over 250,000 miles. They finally allowed me to use it as my administration truck. And so I elected to receive a tracker on that vehicle. It came in, it was put on last Monday, I apologize. And at any time, the council and the mayor can see where my truck is and the history of, where it's traveled and whatnot. D, Chase Hunt won Employee of the Month for the month of May. So congratulations to him. 3 things I'm bringing to council consideration today. I'm going to go with F and G first, and then because resolution 17, 2026 will require a little bit more explaining. Ordinances 115.135 and 115.150. We had discussed it at the ordinance committee, and then I discussed them prior to the ordinance committee with the treasurer. Ordinance 115.135 is adding into the city ordinances the duties of the treasurer, and there's their legal requirements, whether to be doing in office. Every other appointed position in the city has this portion in their I would say their section. Each appointed officer of the ordinance, of course, has their own section for what they're supposed to be doing. And this is just something that's generally missing, so we'd worked with her to get this put in, and now it's for your consideration. Ordinance 115.150 is to alter some wording regarding the monthly report that the treasurer provides. Previously, it had stated that it had to be due on the first day of the month, following the month that it was due. So, the report for May had to be done and submitted on June 1st. That's just not, it's not possible with, how filing and the banks, it's not possible. And so I just simply changed the wording to honor before the first regular city council meeting following the end of each month, to allow for that and to allow for you guys to receive the report in a readily available amount of time. So I can take questions on either of those, or I can keep moving on. Okay. The next thing I have is resolution 17, 2026. This is a resolution that would allow the city to enter into a contract with Civic Plus. Civic Plus is a website hosting platform. They also design the websites for municipalities. I've been directing people to Moberly, Missouri. Their website is a Civic Plus website. And so this allows the city to enter into a contract with them. I have a couple of notes to mention about the website. Provided to each of you was the executive summary that I received when going through the demo with Civic Plus. That within that, it states that there are 2 options. There's a standard and there's a premium option for it. I want to clarify, Mayor Haddock and I had talked this afternoon about specifically what the premium, because that is the one I'm suggesting that we go with, what that entails. I had mentioned previously at the Employee Relations and Community Relations Committee, and I believe at a previous council meeting, that features within this website, once it's completely redone, citizens will actually be able to create a website with this, or an account on the website with the city. Then the example I've been using, say John Doe wants to file a report on a pothole on South Carolina. They also want to, John Doe also wants to put in a sunshine request. They also want to pay their water bill. They will be able to do this all through our website, and they will also be able to track all of their current outstanding concerns with the city, where we are at with those concerns, and then a historical record of all the concerns they've ever filed with the city through that mechanism. Those features aren't available with standard. I didn't feel that it's approximately a $1,700 difference between standard and the premium. I took that into consideration. I think that those services justify that difference. I also had a discussion with our IT manager, Chase Hunt, and we had discussed two options in relation to this. So the first was something we discussed back in January and February, which was, what would it cost staff time wise for him to do this? Not because he isn't able to, but simply what I was asking and the services I wish to provide and make available for the citizens. They were just too much for him to be able to do in a cost-effective manner. It would cost more to pay him to design a website like this than it would to simply contract it. Additionally, and he had brought this to my attention, there are multiple services that we have regarding our website and its current security that we pay for, that we will no longer have to pay for, that account for about $1,000 a year that we'll be saving. And so with all of those factors considered, I wanted to bring this resolution forward for your consideration, and I can take any questions.
This is a budget item, right?
Yes, this was budgeted. I do not have the budget number no, I do. Not the number, but it was budgeted under CPU and software expense and general and administrative. I told Mayor Haddock earlier that during the budget, we all had our asks. I had one ask. This is it. I really do believe in, the idea that this will take the services we provide, how we interact with our citizens to the next level, if you will. And then, of course, all these features, it looks better. It allows us to customize the website more. And so when people come to our town, because I know people will begin coming to our town, they'll be able to look at our city website and they won't see what we have now. It gets the job done, but we can do better. And so I'm bringing resolution 17/2026 before you for consideration.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So $1,700, is that annual or is that for the design? That's more.
Could you clarify?
You said about $1,700 more for the premium.
Yes.
Is that annually $1,700 over the general basic every year, or is that just for design purposes?
It would be 1,700 over what this number would have stated if we had. So within this resolution includes the cost of the one-time setup, which is roughly $1,000. I say roughly, I don't have a number off the top of my head. Roughly $1,000, and then the annual reoccurring fee, which is $5,700. The reoccurring fee is what it would be, about $1,700 more. A portion of that would be. So I think, did that answer your question?
So the 1,700 is already in the 5,000.
Yes, it's already in the. If the council chooses to approve this resolution, it won't be $1,700 on top of this. It will be $1,700 in this, and that $1,700 includes an increase for the one-time setup fee, and then just the average or the annual increase for the service.
I believe this is really needed when we were doing, I think what was this trying to direct people to. I couldn't find it on our website. It was something you had to download to apply for. For the volunteers, yeah. It was hard to find that, and I'm like, they're gonna give up before they even get to the application. So I think this is very, very necessary. And is there room for us to include tourism on here?
Yes, so I'm glad you mentioned that. Within the design, and part of the reason that Mr. Hunt and I had decided that it wasn't feasible for him to design a website of this caliber was because we want to provide a section, essentially it would be a drop-down bar that would say community. You would click on the community and it would have a page for the high school, for the elementary school, middle school, the hospital, the YMCA, tourism, just like a section where when people come into our town, they look at the city's website, it will direct them, a little simple about page, which those organizations will be invited to tell us how they want it to look, and then of course direct them to their own websites.
Was this put out for bid?
It was not.
I thought we had put stuff like this out for bid.
We may. I will be honest, I don't know off the top of my head. I had gone through, I will say I have comparative pricing for it. I had discussed with, I believe, 4 different, service providers. But no, it did not specifically go out for bid.
Cameron, can you tell me what the price difference is between what we currently have for our website and what the new one? Is it dramatic, would you say?
I would say it depends on how you define dramatic. With staff time, and I will include staff time in it, to manage the website, how we do, because all of that would come in this, we wouldn't have to, it would just be like me sending an email or someone sending an email for stuff to be updated. I would say we probably spend $4,000 to $5,000 a year on a website.
We do.
Including staff time. And so, something else I'll bring up that is included within this, currently our current current website does not do regular security checkups. It does checkups once a quarter. And so if there's a breach in our website security, we know about it as early as the next day, as late as 3 months later. With Civic Plus, they do reoccurring 24/7 scans on security. The difference would be, I would probably say 30-40% more than what we currently spend. But I do believe that we would be getting more than our money's worth in that.
Currently, we don't have it, tourism, we don't have anything, which we would need to get. They were gonna, add that on to city. So that would be a cost that would be, so I was asking, we covered under this. So I think that's good.
Yeah, there's no question that our website currently needs some work. And it would take money to bring it up to what
And
standards
people
that we.
know that's how they navigate.
If I could offer a solution of sorts, Councilman Phillips had brought up that this may need to have gone for bids. I've been very clear that I have no problem admitting when I am wrong. I am unsure. Since this won't be considered until under new business, I can do some research while the meeting continues after my report, and then I can take questions regarding that again at new business if that works.
Yeah, we're not gonna vote on this until later on in the meeting.
So I apologize for not having an answer, and if it is, I will go ahead and make the recommendation myself to remove this from the agenda, and I'll apologize for that mistake. So I will have answers for you later in the evening. Are there any other questions regarding that? Okay. Street and grounds update, I forgot to change it to maintenance. It has been a crazy couple weeks here. There was a storm drain that caved in on 7th Street. And this kind of directed us in part to the citizens. We are getting their concerns. We are hearing the things that we need to address around town. Last week, it took everyone at the maintenance department. It was all hands on deck to fix that storm drain on 7th Street. We are getting the concerns. We're just a little bit behind now, so give us a minute to get caught back up. Next, we have Cemetery Renewal Day on July 13th, 2026. We'll be going through the cemetery. As per the ordinance, it will be in the newspaper either the next 2 Fridays, or the prior 2 Fridays before it. We will have the maintenance department go out and they will remove all decorations on stones. Now, I've been asked a flurry of questions about what this contains. Everything. Everything. If it is a decoration and it is not the headstone itself, it will be removed and it will be thrown away. This is something that we have to do in order to maintain that the cemetery stays clean and whatnot. And so always simply ask if there are decorations that, need to be kept, that they're just removed during that day and then placed back after that day. It will only be on the 13th that they'll have to go out and clean the cemetery.
How are you getting this out to the public as far as?
We have made a post on our social medias and then it's going out in the Pipeline News the 2 Fridays prior.
Is this an annual thing that it happens, or?
It's supposed to be. It's in our ordinance. It's supposed to be the 2nd Monday of July and the 2nd Monday of January. I wasn't aware of it in January. I have since become aware of it, but it is supposed to be a biannual thing, yes.
There's signs advertised up there all year long about it too,
Yes.
at all entrances.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
So like when they go through there are certain things that have been there for years that are figurines or whatever. My grandma also has one. If that gets removed again and we have to come out to the city, there are certain things like you guys should make them, like you can tell if it's new. It's been there for months and it's weathered and rotten. But there are certain things, my mom every holiday spends $300 or $400 on a lot of the grapes. Like if it's new, like, I don't feel like that should just be tossed away.
So I heard you just say they could take them off before
Yes.
and then go put them back on.
Yes.
So you just wouldn't want them on there that particular day.
I do understand this is a very sensitive area. A lot of individuals' loved ones are up there. Our goal is not to go through and just, throw everything away. It is simply to ensure that, because there are some graves that just have flowers that have piled up over the years, and that's a lovely thing. But yeah, as they die, we do have to remove them for general maintenance. I am able to direct the staff to use their discretion
That would be better.
with something like
Throw everything away.
with something like this. I could direct their discretion to, if they have questions, bring it to me. Since it is such a sensitive matter, I will not defer that discretion away from myself. And I won't allow individuals to go and make that decision if they're curious about something. They see a figurine that's clearly sat there for 10, 15 years. Say, hey, Cameron, maybe this doesn't need thrown away. And I say, hey, that makes sense. But just as a general rule, because some of the questions we've gotten is the hooks that people hang flowers on, like, does that count? Yes, that counts. What about flowers that go over the headstone? Yes, that counts. We've gotten very specific questions regarding what it would entail. And so it's easier for us to just say, yes, everything, remove everything. But I will, of course, direct staff to use their discretion. If they see something, when in doubt, bring it to me, or send me a photo. And I will also be out there.
This is like our third one on that statue, and I grew up about the year I was born. So 40 years, there's been 3 of them, and this one I think is concreted in, but there's other people that have some up there, like, just, it needs to be discretion heavily to a degree.
And I will say, I will be up there that day. It won't be a matter of, I'm only going to send me a photo that I stopped. I will be up there so they can simply just yell at me from across the cemetery and come over. And it is not our intention that we throw away anything of sentimental value or disrespect the resting places of anyone's loved ones. Moving on for grant updates, I will save us a bunch of time. I have not had time to apply for any grants during the month of June. My struggle is not applying for them. My struggle is finding them. I have worked with Mayor Haddock and I have worked with Sean from YMCA for different ideas and areas that we can begin targeting grants for. But currently at this time, there are none. So I do apologize for that. I've added a new section to this, the building inspector, a building inspection update. So the next 4 things I have are general updates and then the treasurer's report. The building inspector performed 38 inspections, issued 21 building permits during the month of May, and generated a total of $1,851.16 in fees. Of those 38 inspections, 32 passed and 6 failed. The license office update. The license office was open 18 days in the month of June and has generated $6,003.50 in fees across 457 transactions. I will note, even though it is not on there, we did see a slightly higher volume, about 10 to 15% than the prior months in terms of both transactions and amounts of fees generated. Next, we had a completion of their audit. So the Internal Auditing and Compliance Bureau from the state had come in and a couple months ago, actually before this council took seat, they came in, took a bunch of paperwork and they disappeared. It was a very nerve-wracking day. They gave us our report about 2 weeks ago. We had our follow-up report and they just had some minor discrepancies. Maybe for certain transactions, you have to write the entire number of a ticket on the back of a check. That number is 24 digits long. and a couple of those, one of the numbers was wrong. And having a discussion with our licensed office manager, these were nothing, there were no concerns in this audit for us to be worried about. There were no crazy discrepancies, and most importantly, there were no financial discrepancies within the audit. We are required to respond in writing directly to those findings in the audit by this Wednesday. I'm sending out that response. I had sent it to her for review because I have just simply never worked in there. I sent it to her for review today. We had a discussion about it, and I'll be sending that out tomorrow. And that will conclude our audit. If you guys would like to see the specific audit, I didn't print it out. It's, I think, 30 pages. And then our response to it, I'd be more than happy to provide that as requested. Next, I have the library update. During the month of June, the library was open, or since the last council meeting, the library was open 21 days with 470 in-person patrons, 81 phone calls, 8 new library cards, 66 computer-only patrons, and 24 community events. Finally, the treasurer's report for the city for the month of May 2026. Total revenue collections totaled $230,481.50, with total expenses for once less $186,266.83. The city's year-to-date revenue collections $2,873,134.34. And the total expenses for the city year-to-date were $3,098,418.38. And then the account balances for the city, total non-restricted funds, $367,877.93. And then total restricted funds, $788,692.25. A couple things to note that the treasurer Horton wanted me to mention. The end of year financial statement has been completed and it was submitted to the newspaper on June 19th. Due to the deadlines changing since the last time we posted something, they will not appear until the first edition of July, which is the ordinance required to be posted in June. But we were asking for the council's discretion that they be posted the first week of July due to that formatting error. We asked if they could, bump it back a week. They just simply couldn't. The publication for the June edition was missed, of course. The statement will be published, and then we have retained documentation of when it was requested and that we did it to the best of our knowledge. So, that's all I got. I can take any general questions. Yes, ma'am.
Have these numbers been uploaded to the Secretary of State website? Or I'm only gonna find for last time, because you can update it even before your audit, have it on there, and then put your audit on after when you get it.
I am not sure. I will make it up to ask her, and then I will send an email to the council clarifying if they are or not.
Heather said this is Department of Revenue, and that's kind of a big deal, at $500 a day. Just saying.
Yeah, let's not get into the fines.
Yeah.
I hate to do all that work again, not a lot.
Yes, I promise that is not how I want to, I promise I do not want that to be an event during my first year.
I will not be as tolerant this time.
I don't expect you to be. Any other questions? All right, I will do some research regarding the requirement for Resolution 17/2026. And in that case, I will let someone else talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. Clinton? The Enterprise Director report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Let's go through a little bit of the enterprise report. We'll kind of start with the water treatment plant. So just to kind of touch on the water treatment plant, the raw water telemetry and the clear well level sensing upgrade, both of those were completed and in working order now. I plan on making it to kind of fast. I spent majority of the day in court, so I'm pretty well done for the day. Wastewater treatment plant, roof and HVAC replacement. We're gonna put the request or the RFPs out this week in the newspaper. We're gonna try to reach out to as many contractors outside of Louisiana. This will be the second time we've done it. The first time we had one estimate for each one of the jobs come back, and they were seemed pretty high, so we opted to refuse those and start over and reach out farther. The Trojan UV system, which is the warranty repairs at the wastewater plant, so we paid a large amount of money. There was some installation errors, is what I'm gonna call it, not on our part, but on the company. And they have warranted all that. The parts are in and actually are scheduled to be installed tomorrow, the 23rd. Going to the distribution side of it, I'm gonna skip down to the meter changeouts. We have been working on that. There was roughly 100 meters and it got about 3/4 on this. We're expected to have that completed by the end of the week. We just got those in too on Thursday, I think is what it was. Going down to the asphalt patching. So if you drive around Louisiana, you've noticed that there's quite a bit of patches that are still open with barricades and cones around them. The last time that we dug all of our patches and started the patching process, we were on the last hole and our roller quit. So we actually had to hook a chain to it, drag it, roll it, and use the backhoe to finish the last patch. The shop mechanic, he has looked at it, he's worked on it. He's still unable to get it in working order. So this week, hopefully as long as weather permitting, by the end of this week, we'll have all this wrapped up. I reached out to a contractor here in Louisiana. He's going to let us use his roller. There may be a charge with it, there may not be a charge, but we don't have a choice. I'm trying to get them wrapped up before July 4th, and that's the closest, fastest option we have to get those sealed up. That SRF grant application, I was able to successfully get that submitted. That is for the $5 million lead service line replacement grant and the $50,000 for the development of the replacement plan. So that's all submitted, and we'll hopefully hear something back quickly on it. And I know it was a first come, first served basis, so we got it in pretty fast. Moving to the enterprise facilities, we did the energy efficiency analysis across. I spoke with our chief operator at the water treatment plant. I got some counts on some light switches. We're gonna go down and do it again, but we're gonna start there. They're saying if we put automatic light switches in, it'll give us about a 40% decrease on our light portion of our electric bill. So we're hoping that we can make something happen there. And then going on to the trash, I just kind of wanted to follow up with this. I let Danes know of our decision that we had. We reevaluated in 60 days, and I haven't got any more follow-up information in regards to that. So unless they produce documentation or anything like that, I would probably recommend it in 60 days. We just leave it alone and not go any further with it. I actually don't have anything else for enterprise. I'll do the treasurer side on enterprise. Total non-restricted funds for enterprise is $154,897.49. Total restricted funds, $1,618,999.20 for a total of $1,773,896.69.
Just want to make a point of observation that kind of relates to our situation here. There was an interesting report on Channel 4 late last week about the city of Kirkwood. And for those of you who don't know, Kirkwood is the only city in St. Louis County that still runs their own water department. And it was a very comprehensive report with respect, even though they've set up a 20-year plan and all that, some of the problems we're starting to run into now with being able to keep that water system running. Basically aging infrastructure, those kinds of things. And I think it would just be, if you can get a chance to maybe take a look at that, just for your own information.
Yes.
It concerned me as I was watching it, seeing that this could be potentially stuff that we're gonna have to deal with down the road.
I'll say that historically, my predecessors or our predecessors, anybody that's been in charge of the public works system has done, honestly, has done a really good job
Mhm.
with our infrastructure. Although we're still paying on, the Georgia Street Corridor project, it was much needed and something of that large magnitude to get it done and not do it in increments or delay the process any longer than the 2.5 years that we did delay it. It needed to be done, but, I'm pretty familiar with the surrounding counties, just in the fire service alone. Bowling Green's doing major upgrades right now. They went a very long time, a lot of years with aging infrastructure, really bad shape. I mean, they had minimal hydrants, there were requirements of every, flush devices every so often, things like that. So they've done, I think Louisiana overall is in a really good, we're still aging and we still have things that we do, but compared to everywhere else, we're in a.
And my comment wasn't designed to be a
Yeah.
criticism.
No,
I just saw this and it just,
And actually, I'm glad that you brought that up. So one of the things that's been talked about in the past, and I'm not for it, is possibly selling the public works system or contracting it out. But kind of for instance, like Jeff City, they run off of American Water. There's a lot of cities that use American Water. And the issue with that is so if American Water came in and ran our system, they basically throw all of our problems into the pot of Jeff City and any other municipality that uses them, and then they raise everybody's water rates to pay that. So essentially, we would be paying for Jeff City's upgrades, and we have right now, with the exception of cost of living raises or inflation, things like that, we have control of our water system right now. As long as we're doing what we need to do to meet guidelines, and we have control of it. And if we were to do something like that, we would never.
yeah, Kirk was just a mess right now. They were gonna do something and like half the water department quit. I mean, and it's an issue of aging pipes. It's just.
Yeah, I think I just saw
Stuff gets old. It was just kind of a word to the wise.
I just saw a post.
That's the only reason I brought it up.
We had a pothole due to the sewer system, and just right there, was it down by the arch or something? It's huge.
Well, they developed too fast and their infrastructure didn't keep up, but I just wanted to bring it up. I thought it was interesting.
That's all I have for enterprise.
Okay, we'll go right into the fire chief's report.
Yeah, so this past month, it's been pretty minimal. A lot of people have been doing ball with their kids, vacations, trips, haven't been around, so it's pretty short and sweet. As of Friday, we had 21 medical calls since the last time we had met. We had 12 fire-related calls and 0 special events. There is one thing that I do want to touch on. I was working with several of you are familiar. I don't want to take the credit, but Nick Lubrick, he used to be the city administrator here. I worked with him, and we actually were able to fully submit the AFG grant today. Had to be in today. And that was for $625,000, and that we put in for a new fire truck. We had to reach out to a company, get a quote, get everything back, and so we got everything submitted, and we were within our time frame, so that was really good. I will say, I think it's about a year's time about this time next year, if I recall correctly, is when you will get answers. Because we submitted last year, and I think that if I recall, I just heard we found out about it, and we did not get that one. So, but we had a lot better. Last year was really short notice. It was thrown together as fast as we could, and I'm pretty good with playing ID stuff. So hopefully we'll be better this year. But I did want to share that.
Okay, good deal.
That's all I have to.
Any questions at all?
Thank you for applying for it.
There you go.
Next is the police chief's report. Chief Baker wasn't able to come. He had some previous engagement that he had. You did have his report in your packet. If you want to go through that. It's pretty extensive as far as what he's covering. If there's any questions on that, we'll take some questions on that. Also within that, there was, we had lost our animal control officer last week, and he is reviewed some applications for, that animal control officer and has narrowed it down to one of his suggestion. And it's something that we'd like you to vote on. Take a second and kind of look through the monthly report, and if there's any questions, we can go through that. The monthly report for April and May. Did you need one out?
I looked at it online.
Oh, okay. So, any questions at all?
I did have somebody get a hold of me, well, not somebody, I did have a lot of people,
Yeah, he knows we're
well,
doing
it's like 5 people that told me about the speed down on the river, on the riverfront.
Yeah, I saw something about that too.
Let's do this.
Yeah, and I was down there, and I seen one car goes flying down through there, heavy one was scared me.
Do we have any speed limit signs
I don't
down?
know, if you and
I don't believe so.
No.
Yeah, I
Let's do
didn't
this.
see it.
Or at least anything close to it.
So some people were asking if you maybe could put a 15-mile-an-hour sign up down there to slow everybody down, and then they know, well, if you get caught,
We do
then
this.
you're gonna get ticket.
Right.
Let's do that. That's fine.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, we do
So there are two, I think in junior high age, they're on mini bikes like we had when I was a kid. And I have a hill there and I'm going, I just come down and turn up. And they jump, there's a hill between me and my neighbor. Oh my gosh. But, you know, there's little kids and then there's a guy further down mowing with his bush mower. And so they're on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I noticed two young kids on those things.
Yeah.
Going down the sidewalk in downtown.
So I had a citizen in my ward come up there, she messaged me and asked if there was any laws because one almost sideswiped her. She said it's the little mini crotch rocket dirt bikes. They're not, when I talked to Chief Baker, he doesn't think that those are strictly. So that was one thing he was gonna look into because there's been multiple complaints about these kids driving.
They're not around us too.
Well, there is some ordinances, and Mike, you might want to.
Oh, yeah.
Mike's asleep over there.
Ordinance as far as, there's an age limit on those little bit
No,
motorcycle bikes, I think.
motorized bicycle, it says, it's under 50 cubic centimeters, which I believe Josh said was 40 cc, something like that. At that point, anything over that, then you'd have to
License.
have age and everything else. It's all covered in 375 in that area.
He has a note in his report about the e-bikes and everything. And it's-
Yeah, those aren't considered e-bikes, those little bitty motorcycles are. So,
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
They're considered little dirt bikes. They're technically called a crotch rocket.
Ryan, you got something?
Yeah, the ones that she's talking about, that was jumping the curb, them was electric bikes. I saw it. Those
They're
were
electric bikes.
They're electric bikes.
But they were like short little red.
But they were electric bikes. I saw it because I thought the kid was gonna flip over and another one came and done two of them are electric bikes. So those are gonna be kind of hard to
Yeah, those
That
are-
falls under
say they
this
can't ride.
e-bike.
because they're
Well,
electric.
they say them go 40 miles an hour, kind of would.
Yeah, they-
Well, yes, ma'am. They got a little motor on them, but they're electric. The ones that you saw that go right over that little hump.
One thing I have to want to go about chain walk.
You gotta have, if you're gonna ride them.
I saw it a couple different times. Actually, I didn't know the kids ever.
Do Do you know if Missouri's doing anything with the e-bike stuff?
I think that they are.
Because Illinois is just, it's at my governor's desk, so we have to have license and registration for e-bikes in Illinois. They're working on it to be signed.
Well, the Chief Baker's report, it does say that they're currently researching municipal ordinances and state regulations regarding e-bikes. So hopefully we can come up with something that we can.
Yeah, I think we need to be proactive. All we need is some kid come flying out one of these side streets on a Georgia street, not paying attention what the hell they're doing, and get nailed.
I have retaining walls because of my steep. And my little granddaughter comes tootling around and to come around the corner, you're not gonna see her above that, you've got plants. Those guys would have just run her over.
That's another,
Brian,
And that scares me.
of all people.
is there a way to just to tell the difference between a little mini bike and these e-bikes?
Well, the e-bikes,
That's
the
like
little
you can-
mini bikes have motors, like the loud motors on them, but the e-bikes, they're really quiet. I mean, but they're fast.
Yeah,
They
I
run
was just
faster than the ones with the motor.
40 and 45, somebody just told me how fast their
Yeah,
e-bike
but
went.
they usually, those little electric ones have like a little black motor right there on the bottom, just like a regular dirt bike, but it's quiet. They run fast.
Okay.
I know down in St. Louis, I mean, they have the electric scooters and the e-bikes. I swear to God, you don't hear it, you don't see them. And all of a sudden, they come flying off the bike trail or the bike path and they're in their side swipe here. Well, I almost took one out here about 2 weeks ago, never saw him.
That's my favorite.
The one thing I can do is the ones over by your house that are doing it. I know who's kids and parents are, I'll say something.
Another thing is these kids coming off.
I just don't want to see a kid get pulled.
It takes a village to raise a child.
Right. And that's what's, it is gonna take some parents that school their children as far as what they can.
And sometimes people don't think of that, and the kids would be horrified if they ran over a little kid as well, the ones riding the bikes. But they just don't think
And that
that
could be
could
something we need
happen.
to look into for kids, like maybe a little track or something out there.
Like with the
Wallace
horses
Park,
started.
I know when we were kids, we were in the country, we just tore the gravel roads up. We started in the 50s and the 70s and 100s and on up, you know, and they need a place to ride.
So some years back, we were talking about that before, and like out there by the Crescent Urn or whatever, but then they only, insurance is what the problem was. But if they had that someplace to go, and they signed a waiver, it'd be on them, but insurance was the problem, because all these kids have four-wheelers, some people don't have places to ride them, even dirt
Yeah.
bikes, mini bikes, or whatever, but if they had a place to go out there and do something, the town doesn't have much.
No, one of them is new asphalt.
Well, I think that's something the ordinance committee can look into and see what, ordinances we can establish.
Is that something the police could not stop the kids and just kind of give them a little, you know, you need to be more careful type warning?
Here's what could happen.
Yeah. Here's what could
Because you never
happen.
think when you're careful, you
You know, if they say not doing it.
Your kids are immoral.
So once we get past everything, like we're in recovery, we all know that as a whole community. Can we focus on something like a little bit positive besides, no offense, but besides the history and get something in here for these kids? The historic side and all this tourism stuff, we don't have it.
No.
And Momo is, well, Momo's in every town in America at this point. Let's gotta go.
Momo ain't gonna save the town.
No, it's ridiculous. But I get it.
I think suggestively,
But
just to bring a suggestion, I think suggestively, it might be a good idea to get with organizations, you know, we have the Lions Club and different organizations like that around here with the YMCA too, and have an event within a day for, you know, bicycle usage. And it gives a chance for the city to give their, you know, concerns for operating e-bikes and electrical motorcycles due to restrictions. I've had multiple people that I've talked to that have the motorbikes. And I believe, if I'm correct, within the ordinance, it states that they can operate them, but they have to have an operating headlight and some type of reflective gear on the back to be operated in the streets. And they have to be a licensed operator, so they have to have a regular driver's license. But I think that the awareness is a lot of them don't have that awareness. And I think a good event like that for a community event with an organization doing something that would give an opportunity to share information to children and the parents of the children that are operating them. Because I've been here, I've seen a very big growth in e-bike usage and electrical motorbike usage.
so who's, okay, I don't remember who would remember it. Susan, I don't know if you would or not. But my whole quarter was the AR, the Elks. Every year we took trucks and trailers and everybody from the Elks went up there. Well, everybody Walmart had helmets. Back then it was the police who would get involved, fire department, it was set up at the Elks. You remember that, Glenda? And they left there with a new bike. Parents would ride their other bikes in and then they would take rides with the officers. But you also have, I believe that comment.
And that
But
kind of goes with what he says, and maybe we can get together.
But whose they are now? I know,
Dorsey's, brother.
but if they could pull back that, or I could pull up this computer and just see how that program was ran, depending on what's local, the money's there.
I'd like to change it.
And I bring up that suggestion because of the young children that I've spoke with are not aware of any law or concerns of operating. They don't know. And I think that comes down to maybe a parent that's not giving the information or not, the information's not available to them to know where their construct is for operating in the city. I think that just bringing awareness to the children and let them have an understanding of what the rules are.
I like that. The city maybe, I know the Lions would jump on outfits.
Yeah. I just think reaching out to maybe a local organization that does a lot with community outreach like that would be a good opportunity.
Okay, I think this is something that we need to take a look at.
Can we also look at a splash pad, since this council?
Well, let's stay on track here.
I have an answer for the splash pad, but we do have. I was doing my research and I kind of zoned out for a second and I got confused as to how we got from animal control to this, but that's neither here nor there. For the splash pad, I actually met with Sean at the YMCA last week. One of the things we're discussing is applying for a joint grant to put a splash pad outside there because they already have the plumbing materials to go out there.
Yep.
I would recommend whatever we do ourselves because the YMCA is nice and they've made a big organization, but the YMCA is the reason why we no longer have the city pool.
Exactly.
We paid for the water, we paid for the upgrades, we paid for the lifeguards, they agreed for money. So we have the property, we have the water, we have everything there. I think we should try to get it
It
there.
wasn't for a sign on Georgia Street forever where the town had,
Yeah, it's like 10,000, I think, that's like,
yeah, and that splash pad was never put in like it was
Yeah.
supposed for these kids.
No, it was not. And the discussions with the YMCA were just us applying for grants together. It's a lot easier to get grants as a conglomerate of organizations than, feed in, recommit mistakes that we've made previously.
Like right there beside elementary, like that's something in there for these kids, like
But it
they have
is,
nothing.
saying that to say, it is something that we are considering. But we should certainly take this at the community area.
Something positive for the kids, and then we can work on a senior citizen.
We can discuss all that
At
at next
committee.
committee meeting with our community and
And it's
employee
still-
involved.
Right, we have committees that were.
We all know I'm trespassing here, I'm only gonna show up at certain times, so I'm gonna, when the people come to me, I'm just gonna go down the river and you know.
We still have a lot to go
We
through
gotta
tonight.
vote on animal
Uh,
control.
Yeah, sticking with the animal control, there is one candidate that's up for consideration for the vote. It is Michael Langley. I'm not sure if there's people that know him
I do.
on the council.
I don't know if you walked in the door.
If we need to discuss,
For a while, he was our animal control for a while.
I wouldn't know him.
if we need to discuss it in depth, we can discuss it in closed session since we'll already be going in for, I think every provision. of the
We have to make a
RSA.
motion to move that there, though.
But you guys, yes, we'll have to make a motion to move it there.
I'll make a motion.
Put it in closed
Well,
session.
To table or to put into closed session?
Really close session.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, this first and second, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Yeah.
All opposed, like sign. Okay,
Okay.
down to. Any other committee reports?
We're just going to do the quick logo. We did, animal control, committee did a logo contest because we really don't have anything that shows what the worth kind of John Cotton facility. So attached, you guys have all of the logos that were done by citizens and submitted. The only issue we have with one, option A, if you look close, the wheel on the boat is backwards.
Sideways.
But if you guys want to decide on a winner for the contest, that will be the new logo we go with.
Not sure if I'm able to put any input into this.
Yes,
Yes.
this is very informal. Yeah.
I think something, a clean option, similar to option D.
I agree. I would think the same thing.
Option one.
Keep it simple.
These dogs.
There's two that I think either E or D are the best. The one issue we did have with the C was there is a rabbit in it, and we don't pick up rabbits, so we didn't wanna give up.
And that's not our bridge anymore, and that's not our building.
Yeah, those aren't our buildings in the background.
They're nice though.
AI one.
I think D would be simpler to copy and cook places than the other ones. It's, yeah, very simple and very modern looking. That would be my choice personally.
Any other discussions?
Have to have a motion.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to have.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's very informal.
It's just a quick committee.
How do you want to do this, by roll call or by?
That's up to you guys.
We'll do it by roll call, guys. It'll be easier for me. We gotta make my job easier, you know? I'm joking. I'm joking.
Right.
Where are we voting?
Yeah, what are,
Like,
You just
Yeah,
want
just-
which letter you do, and I can put it on the margin.
I guess you guys have decided between two. I would, we did something, I think, with the previous council where there were like two options. I think different ordinances, and they just, each one said which option they wanted.
Yeah,
So E or D.
yeah, E or D.
options.
Okay, ready, guys? Okay, Councilman Baker,
D.
Councilman Frisell,
D.
Councilwoman Holtzhauser,
D.
Councilman Phillips,
D.
Councilman Polston,
D.
Councilman Sherman,
E.
There's one other group.
Councilwoman Sitton,
I know that.
I'm abstaining because I'm leading it.
and Councilman Griffin.
D.
D. D for the win, guys.
For the win. Congratulations.
Okay, let's move on.
Whoever did it, good job.
Is there any old business? All right, new business. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve resolution 17-2026, entering into a contract agreement with Civic Plus.
I have answers. Okay. So like go back up. Okay. So in our handbook, there's a section for purchasing. Of course, it refers to I don't have it verbatim. Any item over $5,000 has to go out for competitive bidding. I was looking through the ordinances. We have a section, which of course, I do want this. I'm recommending this be approved, and so I was looking through ordinances that would, I guess, allow that. I was able to find Article 6 for purchasing, Section 130.350 for professional services. When professional services, in addition to those provided by the city's employees and other officers, are required by the city, the purchasing agent shall solicit a request for qualifications from vendors. And it just goes on to essentially say, if we are allowed to, as a purchasing agent, I'm allowed to forego that. If the service is of a specialized nature, I would argue this is of a specialized nature, but I will also point out the obvious, which I wasn't aware of this ordinance. And so based on my previous knowledge, I should have gone out for them, but it is not technically required.
We found that to be true, like when we were doing billboards, because there's only a few, there's a vast number of them, and it's.
Motion?
Can you clarify something for me? When we discussed this earlier, you had told me that we were paying around 5,000 currently for what we have in place for the website, right?
If you add in just like the estimate in my head of staff time and whatnot it takes to manage it and update it throughout the year, yes.
So it's pretty similar.
Yeah, and I might honestly be overestimating what we spend. I am not sure how I would even get.
Because Cameron, what you said was, at one point you said that it was close to the same, around 5,000. But then you ended the conversation with saying that it's gonna be about a 40% increase. So I'm confused there.
I misspoke then. I will say I'm not sure how I would get an estimate of the time that we spend updating the website and maintaining it throughout the year. If we allow me to do some things.
I think if we did it correctly, it would take lots more.
Right.
Yeah. If we did it correctly, it would be about a 30, 40, I would say % difference between what we currently pay for it and what we would, including staff time, not between what we would pay and then what this is. That would be much smaller.
So it is certainly about a 40% increase, however you look at it. Is that correct? Annually.
I would, on rough numbers off the top of my head, I would say yes. I'm doing some general math. If our IT individual spends 2 hours a week working on the website, we would spend about $2,000 in staff time over the course of the year. That of course doesn't factor in, health insurance and all those things. If I factor that in.
But keep in mind that we did budget it and passed in the budget.
Yes, so it would be about $2,100. Again, this is very rough math. In staff time to manage and maintain the website, in addition to the current agreements we have, not contractual agreements, but subscriptions with Pole Communications and other DNS hosting sources, and that would come out to about $4 to $5 grand. If we were to add and do it the way that Civic Plus is able to, I would say he would probably be spending, we had discussed this 6 to 8 hours a week on the website, which would dramatically increase that. Those numbers, please note, are very rough off the top of my head. But just in summary, if we were to do it correctly, or the way that I think we should be doing it, it would be a significant increase from what we currently do. And kind of in the middle ground there is Civic Plus. And so that's my recommendation.
It seems to me also there is some savings, one with tourism, but also because people can follow where their requests are in the system. Because I know when I'm doing a project, when an interrupter answer a phone call and then you have to come back to get back on track, I would think that being able to look on the website and get answers would be very helpful.
And it would help with transparency too. They'd be able to.
Will our ordinances be on there? Because there's been people asking about how to
Yes.
plan our stuff. That makes sense.
Currently we do utilize eCode 360, another service we pay for. That is also included in here. It's called Unicode. I think currently we spend $3,000 or $4,000 on that and our new books each year. So that would also be included in this. And then one of the things that we couldn't take into account is, say Riley and I get calls or questions. It would take probably, I guess, about a year for this, to catch on, to people to understand, okay, I can go to the website and I have this account before they call. But once it did catch on, one of the things that we couldn't account for is the, 3 or 4 minute phone calls 4 or 5 times a week over the course of, our 10 years that do add up. And neither Riley nor I are cheap. And so it does add up and it does disrupt the workflow and whatnot. So I do truly believe this is a step in, I would say, a step in the direction of modernizing how we interact with our citizens. And at the end of the day, I know there's a trust between the 9 of you and me that I'm not going to bring something that I don't truly think has been vetted or brought or serves a benefit. So I could take any other questions or.
I think the best feature you mentioned is the security. If we're gonna start accepting payments, we need something that's going to keep the security of our citizens with their credit card numbers, whatever, safe and not a hackable website.
I can scare you a little and say that we do already accept payments on our website.
See,
So do with that information what you will.
with the upgrade, I think.
Like I pay my
having
water
more
bill on the
security-
website.
Having more security will be an added feature. I think that we need one.
And our village. You know, I mean, we're trying to promote ourselves.
It does, in the end, it will look, it will look more beautiful, but again, there are an infinite number, and that's why I included the essential sales pitch, the executive summary, is that I do believe this is a good step in how we interact with citizens.
Cameron, if this is put in place, how long is the transition?
Takes about 10 to 12 weeks for them to design the website. LouisianaMo.gov will stay as is until the day of transfer. They will build a website on their servers, and then at that time, our website would be down. I couldn't tell you for how long, but they would essentially remove our website and then upload what they have worked with the staff to integrate all of our forms and things like that, which are also all of our forms are being standardized and put into just OneCoin branding guidelines. And so everything would get put in, and that's just how quickly Riley and I can work with them to get that done. But it'll take 10 to 12 weeks, and then of course there'll probably be a day or so of downtime.
Any other discussion?
I'm all in favor of having the most crackerjack website we can have. But I'm gonna go back to an argument I used to make with the previous administration of coming in here with one item and take it or leave it. Given the fiscal constraints that we're under, I wanna see bids.
Okay.
I wanna see bids. I can't support this. I wanna see bids.
Yes, sir.
I would agree with John.
We've gone too long in this town of administrators coming in here, and we've seen it on the other side, not you so much, but on the other side. We need 5,000 for this, 10,000 for that, and all of a sudden, we're spending $30,000 on a night, and we get 5 minutes to think about it. I want competitive bids, that's what government does. And if I'm not mistaken, even the state laws dictate that, we have to take best measures. We just went through a whole thing at a workshop last week talking about how we should be doing this. And I can't support something with going based on your recommendation. And I'm not denigrating your
No,
recommendation,
of course.
but I want bids.
Yes. I would never ask anyone to support something that they didn't believe was in the best interest of their citizens. So that authority ultimately lies with the council.
And I'm just telling you, where I'm coming from. I'm not speaking for the rest of the council.
Yes, sir.
But this is, we gotta have bids.
How many different ones do you want, John?
I want 3.
Can you do that?
I can try. I'm not sure exactly. I do have different services specifically for website, say remodeling. Web design. I do have multiple bids, or I would call them bids, but I've done demos and I have quotes for multiple ones.
And I'm just going by what we learned last week, okay? I'm not necessarily opposed to this,
Of course.
okay? It looks like a great idea to me, but I want to compare this to other stuff so I can make an informed decision. Instead of just coming in here and saying, okay, I see this, okay, that sounds good to me. I'm not speaking for the other members of the council. I don't pretend to do that, but I want to see comparisons.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so by the statute, what is, like, you guys start throwing out the bids, there should be a standard, like, when it hits this price, that's when it goes, right?
There is, yes.
So what's your?
It's $5,000 unless it's considered a
Wait, that's what I thought.
a specialized,
$5,000.
unless it's considered a specialized service that we believe would be near impossible to get,
And
multiple
web
bids on.
designers at $1,700.
And I will say, out of the bids I currently have, of course, I don't want to call them bids. Out of the other options I have, and I have seen, none come close in terms of price and whatnot, but I do understand the importance of the council seeing those, and I do apologize.
So it's our decision to make.
Yes, yes it is.
So I make a motion that we table the issue for now and solicit 2 more bids.
A second.
We have the first and second. Is there any more discussion? Want to do by roll call?
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frizzell,
Yes.
Councilman Holzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Polston,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sitton,
Yes.
Councilman Griffin.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
resolution is tabled.
You should double that man's salary.
Next on the agenda, the chair will entertain a motion to give Bill 7257 a first reading by title only.
So moved.
First and second has been given. Is there any discussion? And if you pull that out. Here, I got it.
Yeah.
No discussion. City clerk, will you do the roll call?
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frizzell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Holzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yep.
Councilman Polston,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sitton,
Yes.
Councilman Griffin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Bill number 7257, an ordinance of the city of Louisiana, Pike County, Missouri, amending section 115.150 of the Code of Ordinances by amending the deadline for the city's treasurer's monthly financial report.
What did we just do? Point of order. What did we just do here? Didn't we just do a reading? We have to have, with an ordinance, you have to have 2 readings.
Yeah, we just did the first
But you
reading.
just read 7257.
That's what we're on now. and
Yes.
We have to do a second reading back.
I thought we did them back to back. We've always done them back to back.
We are. He just
This
did
is
the first
7257.
reading of 7257.
I just did the first reading by title.
So then we're gonna do the second one and then
Now
we'll do
we're
the
gonna
next
second reading
ordinance.
by title only.
Oh, yeah.
Chair will entertain a motion to give Bill 7257 a second reading by title only.
You need to make a motion.
Motion.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Would you like to do roll call?
Yes. Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frizzell,
Yes.
Councilman Holzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips.
Yep.
Councilman Polston,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sitton,
Yes.
Councilman Griffin.
Yes.
Okay, bill number 7257, an ordinance of the city of Louisiana, Pike County, Missouri, amending section 115.150 of the Code of Ordinances by amending the deadline for the city treasurer's monthly financial report. Second reading has passed. Now the chair will entertain a motion to give Bill 7258 a first reading by title only.
Oh, I haven't been. I apologize. Can't count.
Make the motion for first reading.
Okay.
Hey, Mark, he had his hand up.
Is the council going to vote to adopt Bill 7257 tonight?
We have to vote on that. We didn't vote on that. All we did is vote for a reading. You have 2 readings, you have discussion, and then you have to vote to pass the ordinance.
I'm so confused.
So now we need to vote on it.
Okay,
That's what Tim did, but it wasn't correct. What he says is correct.
I'm so confused.
okay,
That's
so the
fine.
chair, so backing up, the chair will entertain a motion to approve resolution for Bill 7257.
I so move.
One second.
First and second, is there any discussion? City Clerk, will you read the roll call?
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisell,
Yes.
Councilman Holzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Poston,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sitton, Councilman Griffin,
Yes.
Okay. Bill number 7257 is passed. Now the chair will entertain a motion to give Bill 7258 a first reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, is there any discussion? City Clerk, will you do the roll call?
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Holzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Poston,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sitton,
Yes.
Councilman Griffin,
Yes.
Okay, now we'll go to a second reading. Chair will entertain a motion to give Bill 7257 a second reading by title only.
Second.
First,
I thought we had a first already.
Oh.
And we need a motion.
Need a motion.
Need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
okay, so we good.
Here we go.
Motion's first and
I
second.
promise it's not.
We'll get it one of these days, guys.
Is there any discussion? City Clerk, will you read the roll call?
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Holzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Poston,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sitton,
Yes.
Councilman Griffin,
Yes.
The reading passed. Now we'll go into Bill number 7257, a vote an ordinance of the City of Louisiana, Pike County, Missouri, establishing section 115.135 of the Code of Ordinances relating to the duties of the city treasurer.
Bill 7258.
7258, what did I say?
7257.
Okay,
You said 7257 or 7258.
okay, I'm sorry, 7258,
This is a motion to pass the ordinance.
correct.
hey,
I make that motion.
I second it.
Thank you.
All right, it's been first and second. Is there any discussion? City Clerk, will you do the roll call?
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisell,
Yes.
Councilman Holzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Poston,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sitton,
Yes.
Councilman Griffin,
Yes.
Okay, so Bill number 7258, an ordinance of the City of Louisiana, Pike County, Missouri, establishing section 115.135 of the Code of Ordinances relating to the duties of the city treasurer is passed. So now, the chair will entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So move.
Robert?
I hate to intrude, but would the council want to amend the agenda to include subsections 1, 12, and 14? To go into closed session?
Might have to help us.
One is legal actions, causes of actions, and conversations with your attorneys. 12 is negotiated contracts. And 14 is other confidential documents that are protected by other laws.
It would seem to me we'd want to break it up into three parts. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, do it all at once, so it would be a motion
Yeah, oh, okay,
for
yeah.
a section under subsections 1, 3, 12, and 14, for the reasons I just mentioned. If the council wants.
Yes.
The attorney's saying we're gonna do it that
Yes.
way, I think we're gonna do it that way.
So what is, what are we amending? The
Pretty ragged.
the agenda, okay. Right.
I make a motion, we amend the agenda
Oh, okay.
to go into closed session under 1, 12, and 14.
And also-
And 3.
1, 3, 12, and 14.
1, 3, 12, and 14. I make a motion, we amend the agenda, go into closed session under 1, 3, 12, and 13.
Okay, there's been first and second, any discussion?
Allowing.
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 This, it's allowing the city council, city clerk, city administrator, and Robert Guinness to attend the closed session meeting.
Yeah.
We have first and
Yeah.
second.
Okay, great.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All
We
those,
have a roll call. We're going closed
roll call.
session.
Okay. City clerk, would you read the roll call?
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frejo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Holtzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Polston,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman, Councilwoman Sinton, Councilman Griffin.
Yes.
Perfect.
We are in closed session.
thought we lost you.
Take care of business, I do, did pretty good at it.
Did we do it for anybody?
No.
Me too, son, me too. Me too. I'm getting trouble. Props to the 7 people that stayed on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, you got 8 people. What you guys do?
Okay, we're back in open session. The chair will entertain a motion to give Bill 7259 a first reading by title only.
So moved.
Second it.
We have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? City clerk, will you call the roll?
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisell,
Yes.
Councilman Holzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Poston,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sitton,
Yes.
Councilman Griffin,
Yes.
It passed. The chair will entertain a motion to give Bill 7259 a second reading by title only.
So moved.
We didn't read the title.
You gotta read it first.
Bill number 7259, an ordinance of the city of Louisiana, Missouri to authorize the city to enter into and the mayor to execute on behalf of the city a contract with Robert J. Guinness to provide city attorney and municipal prosecutor services for the city of Louisiana. Now we're going to we have a first and second for the second reading. Clerk, will you read the roll call?
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Holzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Poston,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sitton,
Yes.
Councilman Griffin,
Yes.
Okay, the ordinance 7259, an ordinance of the city of Louisiana, Missouri, to authorize the city to enter into and the mayor to execute on behalf of the city the contract with Robert J. Guinness to provide city attorney and municipal prosecutor services for the city of Louisiana as passed.
Mhm. We gotta
We gotta
vote on it. We gotta vote on it.
Okay,
So moved that we vote to
Okay.
approve resolution 7259.
Second.
Okay,
okay, we have a first and second. Clerk, will you read the roll call?
you got it. Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Holzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Poston,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sitton,
Yes.
Councilman Griffin,
Yes.
Okay, bill number 7259.
oh yeah, I got
You're announcing pass,
It
right?
passed.
You also have to officially, and then the council would have to have votes. Separate.
Oh, separately. Um,
and I have to swear him in.
And then she would swear you in?
Correct. I prepared those, like, sign.
I make a motion to appoint.
And actually, the mayor makes the appointment,
Does it? Okay, that's fine.
if he so wishes.
All right, move along here.
Okay, I move that we appoint Robert J. Guinness as our city attorney and prosecutor services.
Second.
Who
The
first?
Second, vote.
It would be a motion to confirm by a member of the city council.
I make a motion, we confirm the appointment.
I second it.
We have a first and second. Clerk, read the roll call.
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisell,
Yes.
Councilman Holzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Poston,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sitton,
Yes.
Councilman Griffin,
Yes.
Bill number 7259 is passed. Do I need to read it again?
Thank you very much, I appreciate your comments.
And
We appreciate your help.
and then do we swear you in now, or?
If you wish, yes.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get it over with.
Save yourself.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Robert Guinness.
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution
Support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution,
of the State of Missouri, and that I will faithfully demean myself
and I will faithfully demean myself
as city attorney and municipal prosecutor
as city attorney and municipal prosecutor
of the city of Louisiana,
of the city of Louisiana,
Pike County, Missouri,
Pike County, Missouri,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
I make a motion, we adjourn?
Second.
Do we still?
What
else we have?
I'm sorry.
Guys, calm down.
Comments or
Any comments from the public on any item discussed during the meeting?
Really scared.
Is there any immediate clarification?
I think you're left.
The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a first and second, any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries, we are adjourned.
Thank goodness.
Thank you all.